Nation Speaks, Flock Nation Speaks, Flock Nation Speaks, your Baltimore Ravens podcast, where we talk about the best team in NFL history. If you're a Ravens fan, I am a huge Joe Flacco fan. Wise Usher once said, situations will arise in our lives. I'm talking about shut down. Like you're not throwing on Jimmy Smith. Joe is criminally underrated, lock him up in cuffs, criminally underrated. Lamar's put this team as a top 5 offense for the first time in 20 years. Got the arm talent. Jay Cutler had it too. I don't care about this argument against total TDs and all this. Oh, you want to talk about defense? Oh, until next time. All right, what is going on, good people? We're back at it again. It's Flock Nation Speaks. I'm your host, DJ, and I'm back once again to talk about these Baltimore Ravens. It's been a little bit. I know I'm still full off of Thanksgiving. When was the last time we talked? Seahawks, I think it was. It feels like forever ago. It feels like yesterday, but feels like forever ago at the same time. But glad to be back. It's been a little crazy, a little hectic, but we got this Chargers Sunday night football game tonight, and I am so excited. I don't know about y'all. I really do, man. I love primetime football games. Especially like when your team is playing primetime specifically, right? When the Ravens are playing primetime, then you like get in that little groove, like, okay, it sucks sometimes because it feels like you got to wait all day to get to the game. But once you do, it's just fun. Like, all eyes are on you, and you don't have to search feverishly to find the game or pay an arm and a leg and the big toe to even watch the game through Sunday Ticket or something like that. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, man, like it's exciting. I love Sunday night football, Monday night football. Okay, sometimes Thursday night football, but back-to-back primetime games, and there's a lot of primetime games coming up on the schedule too, with the Ravens and some of the games, especially with the back half of the stretch they have, which is a tough stretch going into the bye, after the bye week, a late bye week next week. So this is one of those, I put it in the title, and I feel this way. I feel like the Ravens. This is one of those games where the Ravens need to win to just continue the momentum that they're having. They need to win this game. There's two things. There's two things the Ravens got to do in this game. In this game to lead up to the follow up of this game. They got to win this game, and they got to keep up their kind of healthy stretch, right? Yeah, losing Mark Andrews last week against the Bengals is a tough one, right? So maybe it hasn't been as long as I think it has. But anyway, losing Mark Andrews against the Bengals was a tough one. But then you kind of got that mini bye week that I think for the Ravens has been much needed. They've been across country. They've been literally across the seas to go to England to play, and they haven't had a bye week yet. And I think fatigue has to be setting in. And I think the mini bye week that they had from Thursday to Sunday night is big. But I think on top of that, it feels like to me that they definitely gonna need this bye week next week. So I think one of the biggest things, this is one of those games where, I'm not saying they shouldn't have a pretty game. I'm not saying they should. It shouldn't be a big offensive outburst for the Ravens versus the Chargers, considering both of these teams got really talented offenses and really talented offensive cast. But I think at the same time, the Ravens have to get out of this game unscathed. And they have to get out of this game with a win. This is a much needed win that they're gonna have to have, because you got Miami coming up. You got a tough stretch of games in that last little bit. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but you got a tough stretch of games coming up after the bye week. But the bye week is important because week 13, that's a long time to wait to get a little rest. It's a long time to wait to get a little reprieve, get yourself back healthy. I mean, even when you look at the injury report for tonight, you got Marlon Humphrey being out. Like, that's against this team, against this talented of a team. Marlon Humphrey being out, it could be big, but you hope Ronald Darby can step up. You hope maybe Rocky Sin. I think I want to say that more so than anybody else, right? You hope Rocky Sin can step up, because I think he's kind of been a little bit of a disappointment as of late. So the rest of the list, you're not too worried about those guys. Those are depth pieces. Those are guys who, come in when you need them. But Marlon, I think, is the biggest one, and I think somebody even said it, like resting Marlo before the bye week is a W, right? Because he gets the long week going into this game. He gets the bye week next week, and then he gets a chance to continue to rest and heal up. Coming back off of the injuries that he's had, and kind of tweaking something. Was it against the Bengals too, if I'm not mistaken? So like him having that a little bit of extra rest is going to be big. But that puts a lot more pressure on this defense. Let's start there. Let's start with the defense. What they got to do. First things first. We know the Chargers are a talented cast. No Mike Williams, so in terms of a personnel perspective, that helps because Mike Williams is a beast. He's a stud. He's a really good receiver. But you always worry about Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's going to be good. Keenan Allen, I think Marlo could have been the guy who kind of can play physical with him and not take him out the game per se, but slow him down a little bit. But then now that's going to be up to some of the rest of the cast of characters and stuff like that. So I think Quentin Johnston, the young rookie coming out here, like that could be a matchup that could be interesting too. I think he's had some issues with drops and everything too. So I mean, I think they're gonna have to continue to just play the Ravens style defense they've been playing. The last couple of weeks, I think, has been kind of considering how they started the season. I mean, they started this season defensively in really dominant fashion, and as of late, it's been a little bit more. Now, last week was pretty good. But they did have a couple possessions. Last week against the Bengals was pretty good. Consider all things considered with Joe Burrow being out. But at the same time, you got to think about it. Like, no Joe Burrow. I'm not. I'm gonna give you credit, but at the same time, I gotta put an asterisk beside it and say there was no Joe Burrow there. You playing against Justin Herbert. Is he the highest paid, second highest paid quarterback in the league right now? I think because I think Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback in the league technically. So, like it's one of those things where you're playing against a top quarterback. This is especially for the defense and for the offense as well. For this whole team, it's a business trip, right? The Chargers are underachieving, so let them. Right, but this is one of those games we know. We know the John Harbaugh led Ravens. We know how the Ravens are sometimes. They play down the competition. This team is talented, but in terms of the way they're playing right now, they're not playing up to the level that the Ravens are playing up to, or the level that the Ravens can play up to. So because of that, the Ravens got to go into this game as kind of like a business trip. If it comes down to it, the Ravens got to have that foot on neck mentality because this is the thing about the Chargers, which regardless of what the record may say, is they're really talented. And like coming down not only the rest of the season, but in the postseason, you're going to face a lot of really talented teams with really talented offenses, especially. So, this is a good get ready game for, the rest of the season and the playoffs as well, if you want to make a deep run. So I think defensively, they're going to have to make Justin Herbert uncomfortable, right? Justin Herbert is the prototypical quarterback, and they're going to have to, kind of like they did with Jared Goff, they're going to have to make him the prototypical quarterback, right? They're going to have to showcase that, maybe this guy isn't what people should be drafting later on in the league. And that's not exposing Justin Herbert by no means. More so, I'm just saying they're going to have to have that defensive dominance where it's like, okay, there's a reason why, different styles of play work at this point in the game when it comes down to the NFL and playing quarterback in the NFL. So I think defensively, get after him. Like, continue what you've been doing when it comes down to sacking the quarterback. The coverage has been good. I think for the most part, everything has been pretty good. They got I think this Ravens team has to play the full 4 quarters of the game as opposed to playing 3 quarters and feeling like they kind of just let off the gas a little bit. I think they're going to have to start, kind of that foot on neck mentality. They're going to have to, and the Chargers is a good team to do it against the Chargers on a national stage where everybody's going to be watching saying, let's see about this Todd Monken offense. Let's see about this, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, Lamar Jackson, right? Let's see about, the Super Bowl winning coach, John Harbaugh, right? Like this is the time where you put everything together. And this is a game where you can do that. But at the same time, you got to kind of play with that no pressure. That let's go to the offensive side of things too. You kind of got to play with that no pressure type of sense, right? Where yes, it is a primetime game. It's Sunday Night Football. Everybody's watching, but there's no pressure here, right? Go in, play your game, win the game, and let's get out of here. Let's get out of here healthy, right? Let's get out of here with no more injuries on the docket. Like this is the time in the season where the Ravens, especially over the past couple of years with the strength and conditioning coaches and all that, where the Ravens started to wear down over the past couple of years. So now this is the chance to show too that, hey, like this isn't the Ravens team of old. This is the Ravens team that can't stay healthy. This isn't the Ravens team that's been just completely decimated by injuries in years past. This is a whole new Ravens team. And this is a Ravens team that's not going to get outcoached by an inferior coach in Brandon Staley. Let's put that out there too, right? Like we need, this is one of those games where you're going to have to come to play. This is one of those games that could be like a trap game, but not, because the Chargers should be better than they are, but the Chargers are charging right now. So they ain't charging forward, but they are charging. So, I just don't. I think this is one of those things. You got to put your tie on, put your suit on, and go get in there, get out, and take this extra bit of rest. And I think the mini bye, as I like to call it, I think that should help. I think that should help. Of course, you got Marlon missing tonight, but I think the mini bye should help because the Ravens have to be tired. They have to be fatigued. All this traveling they've been doing, taking the bye week this late. It'll be interesting to see if the Ravens, next time they play overseas and they run into a late bye, it'll be interesting to see if the Ravens decide, okay, you know what, I'm gonna take the bye a little bit earlier to kind of help the team out a little bit. That'll be an interesting way to look at it too. Like, will the Ravens do that? Will they? Will they learn from this? Because I think fatigue is definitely starting to hurt the Ravens a little bit, especially as of late in the trenches. We talk about the Browns game, how that game went in the trenches. Like the Ravens, they have to be tired, and hopefully this mini bye gonna help too. So take care of business today. My camera don't want to work, but that's okay. Take care of business today and do exactly what you got to do, and let's get out of here. Like this one of those times where you gotta go in, do what you got to do, and slide on out, because there's no reason to be in a dogfight with the Chargers. If the Chargers want to be a bad team, and I'm gonna say this again for y'all, if the Chargers want to be a bad team, let them. If the Chargers want to be mediocre, let them. If the Chargers want to not make the playoffs this season, let them, and go out there and do what you do and get the job done. But anywho, let me get on off here, because obviously StreamYard is telling me we got to go. All right, so we'll see you guys on the next video. Once again, keep prowling. Let me stop. Once again, Fly Nation Speaks is on all major podcasting platforms. Keep Prowling Podcast is also on all major podcasting platforms. In case y'all want to check that one out, y'all want to hear me talk about something else other than these non-Ravens. But I mean, that's a tale of two halves right there, right? That's a tale of two halves right there, and I'm happy to be on the purple side of it. But anyway, we'll see you guys on the next episode of Flock Nation Speaks. All major podcasting platforms, any of them. And if it ain't on one, let me know. Send it in the DMs. Be like, hey, you ain't on this one, and I love that one, so I got to get on that one. So just let me know. But we'll see you guys on the next episode, and we'll be right back. Not after this. We'll be back in about a week or so, or maybe even after the game. Maybe after the game, a couple days after the game or something. We'll let y'all know. We'll recap this game, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Until